In this video, I'll take the ghost of an old painting, a bland reference photo, and turn it into a dynamic wave painting. I had a painting on this UArt paper. I didn't like it at all. It's not the kind of wave that I wanted to paint. Didn't enjoy doing it. I thought it was a little boring. So I brushed some of it off and then created this underpainting from a little video that I took in Pensacola Beach. I put some pastel on top of that underpainting, and it felt like it wasn't adhering very well. So I sprayed it first with Spectrafix and let that dry overnight. And then today I'm using the Krylon spray. Sprayed it outside because it has quite an odor. And I've started adding the little dark places underneath the wave where it's touching the bottom surface. From the underpainting, there will be little hills and valleys patterns created by the underpainting, and I can use those to create these wonderful little organic shapes without having to use imagination. They're there through the underpainting, and I'm just adding the correct value color on top of them. And I'll continue to do that. This is a great one. I just did some flat, really dark one here, and then created this little quirls and squirgles and squiggles, following what I saw on the underpainting. And I'm going to continue going up in value, maybe to about this area. And the reason for doing it that way is what I chose on this video reference is I wanted all of those wonderful light sprays of splashing water to be what's in front and to be the focal point. But if I just did that in white or very light colors, it wouldn't have much of an impact. So I'm putting these darker colors on my painting surface, even the ones down in here, and right in here where it creates a light value because there's more water there, but still darker than white and darker than the light values. So that's a really fun part to do. And if you just forget about your photo and let your imagination take care of it, you can find all of those little wonderful accidental places to create little strokes going up in here, and then the white can go up in here. A lot of little fun places. This is another one. There'll be a wonderful little light spot there, darker right there. So at this point, I am just putting the reference aside and having fun playing with my painting. You can see already that it's darker than my reference, but that lets me put the light in. This Jack Richardson set of greens is one of the few things I have kept in its box. I break them in half and leave part of it in there, and that lets me put the other half
back in the right spot. The reason I like to keep these in the box is because of the arrangement that Richardson has chosen to put these greens in. For instance, in this row, working on this little seascape where I need the darker colors, I started with this one. But Richardson has put it in value and chroma in a row so that I can just move from this one to this one to this one. And then when I want to go maybe to something in the green family, I can come over here and go on up. A little bit more blue-green here. It all depends on what color I need, but since they're grouped so deliciously, it makes my job easier. I'm working to find these little places where I can hide a slightly darker value underneath the foam that is really popping up high. This is kind of a hunt and peck. We used to use that term on the typewriter. And finding all these little spots that through my underpainting, they form their own pattern. So I'm going to go over to this slightly more intense green into this area. It's little connected squiggles. For all of these white foamy areas that are in the front, that is where the water, this wave has come forward, leveled off, hit something, and splashed back up. So I'm creating the volume in this area. One of the things I've done is taking my darker pastels and created little spots or little wave holes, lattice holes, to create the contrast between the two colors, the two values. I've even used purple over in here. In my reference photo, these lines do not exist. I've made them up based on things I saw on the underpainting, just following the forms. So what I'm going to do now is to create some of the little spots of water that have splashed up using a white and my X-Acto knife. You can see I've used this one quite frequently. And as I very gently shave pieces off, they will fall. I'll put some over here, over the green. So as they fall, they create the little sparkles, little pieces of water that have exploded up, left the main part of the wave, and creating their own path. Some of the, if you're doing this, you can follow what's happened on your reference photo, or you can make it up based on what you know that the wave will do. Lots of fun. I hope you can see them falling down. In places that you want it very thick, that's fine. You can go from a gentle scraping like that to something that will give you some hard pieces. That's almost like cutting instead of shaving. and it'll give you the larger spots like that. I'm going to use a little bit of the green down in this part. Let's see how this particular green looks. Oh, I like that.
Gently place the glassine paper over the part of the painting where you have added pastel sparkles. Burnish the pastel into the paper by rubbing over the glassine with a piece of foam, the palm of your hand, the heel of your hand, anything that is smooth. You'll see that little or no pastel comes off on the glassine. When you're finished